It is Christmas, my dudes.
Well, that was funny. Most of these, like, Wednesday video things that this guy makes, I have not watched. So it's always very interesting to listen to what they actually sound like. But yes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. I'm gonna lower this real quick. It's really loud for some reason now. And yeah, we are back. We are doing some more Metal Gear. Because I want to get the final ending that's available. And I hope I can get it done before the end of the year.
Please select a mission.
But yeah, I would have used that for Monday, but I mean it's a Wednesday thing. I gotta use it for Wednesday. Alright. I apologize for any yawns that are gonna come. Ugh. I woke up way later than I expected today. Partly due to the fact that my body was like, you know what? We don't want to wake up, and it kept hitting snooze. And I'm like, why would you do this? Like, I'm gonna look to see if I can just disable snooze off of my alarm, because I literally just did not wake up.
Please select.
Oh, jeez.
Please select a landing zone. Landing zone.
Roger.
Yeah, like, I don't know what. I think it's just due to the fact that I haven't gotten a lot of sleep, and I still technically didn't even get a full night's sleep last night. Whew. I don't know what happened, but my body was like, we want to make sure you stay in the stream. So my camera's a little... There we go. That should be good now. Nope, still not good. A little bit more. Alright, good now. Jeez, freaking quiet! What the heck? Anyway. Yeah, no, like, I don't fully remember everything that happened in the dream. The only bits that I remember was I was helping my dad work on stuff, and then eventually I ended up in a console wars. Like, and I don't understand why. I mean, I think I know where part of that came from. Am I like being stopped when I talk? I am. Do I have the filter on? No, I don't. Or not filter. Well, yeah, filter, but noise suppression. Noise suppression is still set to this. Should really figure out how to make all that work. It's never the way I want it to be.
Mission list updated.
You can now give the order to develop or dispose of nuclear weapons from your iDroid. With a nuclear deterrent, even if you're discovered while infiltrating a rival PF's FOB, most PFs won't dare retaliate. But you, of all people, know how dangerous it can be to have nuclear weapons. So will you add nukes to our arsenal as a deterrent? Or will you take them away from other PFs and dispose of them to help build a world that's free of nuclear weapons? I'll leave that decision up to you.
I have to infiltrate people's bases to get rid of nukes. Oh, my rank increased. Cool. Oh, that rank decreased. But yeah, no, like, I don't know what happened. That was a weird dream.
Please select a mission.
The agent that the CIA had working for them inside OKB-0 has gone missing. We've been given the job of finding and extracting him. The target learned of XOF's plans to use vocal cord parasites and had hidden himself with the CIA's Mujahideen allies. Following Skullface's death, the Soviets retook OKB-0 and all contact with the target was lost. He may have tried to go back to OKB-0, but even Langley isn't sure what's going on. After all, they've never even learned of Skullface's plan. That's probably what they want to get out of the man once he's extracted. But we can't allow Langley to learn of the existence of the vocal cord parasites. That's why I want you to bring the target out, boss. Once we have him, we can report him dead and keep him on base. All contact with Langley is being conducted through a cutout. Our reputation should remain intact. As for the reward, it's already in the hands of the cutout. All you have to do is get the job done. Just like always.
Mission accepted. Heading to Afghanistan.
Yeah, like the way that I live my life, I feel like I live a double life type of thing, because holy cow, there's quote unquote daytime me, and by daytime I mean, depending on the day, 10 or 11 a.m. to, oh, excuse me, to about, we'll say 10 o'clock p.m. roughly, so about 12 hours. I'm just chill here, hanging out by myself, sometimes streaming depending on the day.
Deploying.
But besides that, nothing really goes on. But then, like, late into the night, my friends get on, and then it's like, oh man, finally I get to do something. But that goes from, like, either 10, sometime between 10 and 11, or even 12, to about 5 in the morning. So, yeah, don't get a lot out of that.
Find and extract the missing CIA agent. The target was laying low with the friendly Mujahideen during the vocal cord parasites incident. The man headed back to OKB-0 after the Soviets recaptured it. Check the target's VI on your iDroid.
I'm so sorry for all the yawns. Holy cow.
Be careful down there, boss.
Oh yeah, I guess I should talk about
Updated.
the other big news that happened. Coincidentally enough, literally the same day, I just didn't get any word of it actually happening. So obviously I had heard about the threat, was Insomniac information got leaked. Which I did hear about in terms of, like, you know, the threat. But actually, like, having that threat be kept, I was like, oh jeez. And then, like, all the information that got leaked, even what little bit of it I did see, because I don't usually go out for it when it's malicious like this, unless it just, like, happens to scroll by. I don't personally try to watch these things. But what little bit of it I saw, I'm like, okay, that doesn't look too bad. I mean, again, it's very early alpha stuff, so that doesn't look bad at all. And then, of course, people are complaining, which I feel like is Had a burp, excuse me. Which I feel like this is all gotta be like planted or something. Like there's I have a hard time believing people could be that vain about video games. And I was talking to a few friends last night about it. And yeah, no, like I just don't understand people's mindset of complaining about a game that is nowhere near its release, all the while like knowing that games just, you know, have to be made. But then I get in the mindset of people just don't realize things need time, which is really weird to me. Like, you'd think all these years, all of this information, everything we have learned, like, especially if this is like a thing you're into. Like, if you're into gaming, then you should know these things. It works too with people that like movies. Like, you should know that, yeah, these things take time. But people still complain when it's like, oh, this doesn't look good, when it wasn't meant to be seen. It's one thing to be like, oh, this doesn't look good, and this is what they showed, like, on purpose. Like, if Insomniac or PlayStation were like, oh, yeah, here's a sneak preview of what it's going to be like in Wolverine from Insomniac, and they showed that, then yeah, that is absolutely cause for concern if they don't tell you, oh, this is what the final, if they're like, oh, this is close to the final product, and it's that, it's like, yeah, then that's a problem. But that's not what it is.
Analysis complete.
Why is it not? There we go, jeez. I don't know what was going on there, it just wasn't marking him. But yeah, like, I just don't understand it. And obviously, you know, everybody's different. Everybody's got the way that they view things in the world. So, no doubt that there's probably things that I'm, like, impatient about, like, in equivalence to that.
We know where to find the target. Check your iDroid.
Oh boy.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Analysis complete. Analysis.
Take a good look at their faces so we can ID the targets.
The map has been updated.
That looks like the target.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
How can I not, like... How can I not, like, get this guy? What the heck? Well, this has gone out of hand. Well, I was left with no option here. I was surrounded by 4 mechs.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
I didn't want to kill him. I didn't have a choice. There's probably a lot of good dudes here. I probably could have used all of them.
Extracted. Exfiltrate the hot zone, boss.
Has been updated. The map has been updated.
What direct? Oh well, this is probably not a good direction to go. Well, technically, this is the best one to get out of here. Yeah, no, like I don't freaking know, man. Like this is just like one of those situations where it's like you know you're at a time limit here and you do not have a lot of options. I really wish I could give let's say sniper, which I guess technically is true, but I wish I could give Quiet a suppressed trank rifle or something. But I don't even have a suppressed trank rifle.
Exfiltrated.
That's it. You've made it out of the hot zone. No sign of the enemy. Mission complete, boss.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Development project has been added.
All right. Mission complete, boss. Maybe you'll actually break a sweat next time, huh?
I got an A. Ooh. Oh, you have one? Cool. Lucky. Or is it like a... oh.
The target filled us in on what's been going on. He betrayed the Soviets, passing information to Langley, but got scared after learning XOF used the vocal cord parasites. Then came feelings of guilt that his leak sent comrades to their deaths, and fear that America might deploy such a weapon itself. But in reality, XOF and Langley don't have a collaborative relationship, and Skullface was not working for America. Still, I can't blame the man for being afraid. After laying low with the Mujahideen, he tried to cut his ties with the US and return to the Soviet military. But along the way, someone came after him, and he was forced back into hiding. Could have been remnants of XOF looking to silence him. And you know the rest. He doesn't seem to know much about the parasites, but nevertheless, it'd be too dangerous to hand him over to Langley or the Soviets. We'll keep him here as originally planned.
Okay, so it's like an upgrade type of thing.
Boss, come on back to base.
Oh, wrong one. Well, good thing it was already a black screen. I'm assuming it's gonna be a cutscene, that's why I'm doing this right now. Preemptive. Great, what does this kid want?
Boss, there's been an accident in the boys' quarters. A pile of steel pipes gave way and crushed one of the kids. The boy named Ralph. They tell me he died instantly. I'm sorry, boss. It's my fault. I should have been keeping an eye on them. I'll let you know if we learn something.
Okay, well. Poor Ralph. So is there something actually else here to... Oh. I hate the fact that it keeps telling me to go in here and do these things. I don't care. Okay, so these are the new ones. Winner, 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 draw, loser. Yes, it was actually Ralph Wiggum. I believe it. Okay, can I back out of this now? Okay, cool, thank you. Thank you for telling me about the rewards game. It's a lot of bees. Not the bees! Alrighty, well. Now that I know Ralph is dead, I guess I can leave. Oh wait. Oh, yep, that's what I wanted. Time to figure out where the helipad is again.
Thank you for getting rid of the
Please select landing zone.
Roger. This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ.
Right, development. Why do I keep forgetting where that is?
Please specify a project.
This is B-Quad. On station.
I'm like really close with R&D, but medical is still pretty low. Alright, I'm not gonna be jump scared by you this time, Quiet. I'm expecting you to show up. Ugh. But yeah, no, like... But I'm excited to keep this going right now, especially now that I have to do the unique missions. I'm very curious to see how I handle that. Also now Quiet just doesn't want to show up because she knows I'm expecting her. Cool. But I think the first one was a substance mission, which... That's gonna be interesting. I think that's what it was called, substance.
Please select a mission.
Yep.
Boss, information warfare is more than just intel gathering. It also means disrupting enemy communications. Your mission is to punch a hole in the comms network between the Soviet outposts. That'll cut off their means to call in reinforcements. Technically, we were given this mission by a Western-backed Arab organization supporting the guerrillas. But it'll also give us a leg up in the future. Take a look at the location of the Eastern Communications Post on your iDroid. Head there and destroy its comms equipment. He who controls information controls operations. Just look at Cypher. Good luck, boss.
Mission accepted. Heading to Afghanistan.
Well, this is certainly going to be interesting. This is going to be, probably a bit of a pain. Realistically. But I want that true ending, or the closest thing this game has to an ending for that is true.
Boss,
Okay, so at least I have the binoculars still. That's at least nice to know that not everything was taken away from me. I've still got my arm. This is going to be something. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be it. Something tells me I should go over there, but you know what? I'm not going to listen to that. My gut is having a problem right now, so I'm not listening to it. I'll listen to it later, when I don't have a choice. Don't listen to something I had he's a liar.
The map has been updated.
Though that does remind me, I should put on a cassette tape.
Boss, about those invalids you saw in that devil's house.
Poor bastards. All strapped down to the beds. With those
Yeah, the jams.
The medical staff tell me they were probably a type of cyst.
cysts can get that big.
In some cases, yes. But supposing they're a kind of atheroma forming on the surface of the skin, the size is just too big, and the appearance is all wrong. In the end, the medical team were at a loss. Those lumps were like nothing they'd ever seen. The fluid you said you got on your prosthesis when you touched one was burned off in the fighting, and the factory burned down too. None of the tests we did once you were back at the base revealed a pathogen that could have caused them. Meaning we don't have a single sample to work with.
Everything went up in flames.
What worries the medical team most is whether it's contagious. Whether there's a chance we could end up like that.
And
Mother Base's sanitation control has always been strict. After all, war is great at transporting diseases. For the time being, at least. There's no sign of contagion or any symptoms that could be related. One more thing. About the surgery that had been performed on the people in the Devil's House.
yeah,
You said that their throats were cut open, with an acoustic tube pushed inside?
right. The tubes were hooked up to tape recorders playing some kind of audio.
Well, we picked up some of that audio through your radio transmissions and recorded it here. The intel team has been working on analyzing the communications log.
What have they found?
There's nothing tying the contents together. We've got a report on 3 deaths in a car accident on the autoroute near Marseille. Protests outside the Libyan embassy in London. A press conference with the former Prime Minister of Sweden. A 4-month-old weather forecast for Balikpapan. And then commercials for appliances, cough syrup, and TV dinners. Assuming they're not all staged, they come off as recordings of your average...
Possibly.
tests.
Public broadcast.
But, you know, it's something to listen to right now.
And from all over the world. We're looking into whether they're genuine or not, just to be sure. What else? A speech that sounds like it was recorded out on the street, and people chatting about how this year's tomato crop did.
And there's nothing they have in common?
We're partway through the cryptanalysis. That includes checking all audio ranges and running it backward and at different speeds. Then there's vocabulary breakdown for political suggestions, ideological comment points. But I don't think it's going to get us anywhere.
Where were the recordings made?
There's nothing linking them from that angle either. Just like you reported, we've been speaking every major language there is. French, German, Italian, Spanish, including South American accents. Then there's Russian, Hindi, Arabic, Portuguese, Mandarin, Cantonese, Japanese.
They're nothing if not thorough.
Well, I don't know if we've got them all covered.
Actually, were these guys
Ignoring the ones
B?
that have gone
Yeah, those guys
extinct.
B. That guy's
Supposedly
C.
over 5,000 languages exist today. Besides, English isn't one of the ones we picked up.
Really? English.
I know. Only 5% of the world's population is a native English speaker. But when you factor in those who've acquired it as a second language, nearly 1/3 of the people speak it. The world's dominant lingua franca. You gotta figure they had it somewhere among all the languages in that place.
No English.
Bear in mind, we didn't hear everything that was played in that room. We couldn't isolate the more distant sounds due to static, and the program could have been set to change every day. In a nutshell, for reasons unknown, People in that room with a common medical condition.
I think I saw something about
languages from around
a
the world.
burger.
It's not clear how the growths on their chests fit into it. It could have been treatment for them, or maybe an experiment of some kind.
I'm guessing one person knows.
Yeah, Skullface. He was there.
You gotta extract him.
The thing we can say for sure is that he's involved.
Oh yeah, the hamburgers of Kazuhiro Miller. We'll get there soon. And by soon, I mean whenever this part gets all the way down there.
Snake, I wanted to ask you about the man on fire. What do you remember from the hospital? Anything we can use? Well, he took off the moment the sprinklers started up. Sprinklers? The fire system? And when he got sprayed with water from the burst pipe, it slowed him down. We escaped on horseback, he wouldn't cross the river either. And then it started to rain. And he disappeared. Water against fire. Is it that simple? I mean, it makes sense. It's just hard to believe it would work on a guy like that. You mentioned that the man on fire was crushed under Sahelanthropus in its hangar. Yeah. He was caught under the wheels of its transport platform. But his body wasn't found. What? We searched the area the moment we arrived, but there was no trace of him. I wasn't hallucinating. I know. I trust you on that. That means someone must have taken the body. But when I got there, everything was still as it was. Even Skullface hadn't been touched. I can't see a reason to sneak into a place like that and drag out the biggest, heaviest guy there. What are you getting at? The only option left is... he got up and walked away. That platform ran him over. Just ran him over. You're saying that's not enough? I don't want to believe it, but maybe not. He shrugs off bullets, even rocket strikes. There's no reason to think that would finish him. It seems ridiculous, but I'll start gathering eyewitness accounts just in case. If you dig up anything concrete, I want to know. You'll be the first, if I dig anything up. But I hope to hell I don't. No kidding.
The White Mamba.
The White Mamba. Nyokayam Pembe. He's the commander of the kids based out of Wala Yamasa. As you know, contract forces of Africa were stationed at that village. Anti-government forces hired CRS to bring kids there from around Africa for training. But at some point, the adults with the PF started dropping like flies.
So, okay,
This was right
here's
after
the question. Is this like older Metal Gear games where I could just crawl over that and
like fish out of water.
it won't blow up, or am I
No way to get back home.
a little too
All the
hopeful?
adults taught them was how to use a gun. Sure, they could shoot targets, but hunt for food? Not likely. They wouldn't have lasted long. Then the White Mamba showed up. He was faster and stronger than them, a better soldier, and he knew how to lead. I guess somebody wished upon a star, because their savior turned up like stardust.
You made it.
in the blue.
First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility.
Other villages. Word of the infamous White Mamba spread fast. But it isn't just his combat skills that got people talking. As you can tell from the name, he's the only light-skinned kid in the unit. Not to mention the blonde hair and the blue eyes. Not common in those parts. We have no idea where he came from or what he's experienced. The kid's a huge blank. But I'm sure you'll know him when you see him. One other thing. He's still a kid, so don't kill him. Be careful not to hit him with anything lethal.
Okay, so you do have to go around it.
Our mission objective isn't just suppressing a bunch of militants. This is a DDR operation of the kids in that unit. DDR stands for disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration. Disarmament is obvious. We take their weapons off their hands. The demobilization part means dismantling their military organization to ensure they can't arm themselves again. To do that, you need to capture the unit's commander and have him order his men to disband. In this case, the commander is the White Mamba. There's nobody above him, so he's all we need to grab. Finally, reintegration. Through education and occupational training, we give them a means to live besides war. A lot of kids born in a war zone don't know any other way to live. So before they find themselves back there, we teach them another skill. I'd like to establish this rehabilitation process at Mother Base. That's why we're bringing those kids back here. It's not so much for their sake. It's for the world that we're trying to create. No other way about it. Those kids are amateurs. Bad
Oh,
business to have them running around where we're trying to work. Bring them all
is he
back
too
if
heavy?
possible, or as many as you can.
Oh. Why?
Analysis.
I literally am holding A and Snake's like, huh?
Analysis complete.
Alright, well, time to murder! Okay.
Snake, talk to me! Snake! Snake!
Okay, that is definitely on me. I was not expecting those guys to be right down there.
The Eastern Communications Post and destroy the target equipment. Its location is on your iDroid.
Sun will rise momentarily. Analysis complete.
Ooh, yes, take you.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Our mission objective isn't just suppressing a bunch of militants. This is a DDR operation of the kids in that unit. DDR stands for Disarmament, Demobilization, and Reintegration. Disarmament is obvious. We take their weapons off their hands. The demobilization part means dismantling their military organization to ensure they can't arm themselves again. To do that, you need to capture the unit's commander and have him order his men to disband. In this case, the commander is the White Mamba. There's nobody above him, so he's all we need to grab. Finally, reintegration. Through education
You made it.
and occupational training.
First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility.
Don't know any other way to live. So before they find themselves back there, we teach them another skill. I'd like to establish this rehabilitation process at Mother Base. That's why we're bringing those kids back here. It's not so much for their sake. It's for the world that we're trying to create. No other way about it. Those kids are amateurs. Bad for business to have them running around where we're trying to work. Bring them all back if possible. Or as many as you can.
What? I still have the marker on it.
We placed the White Mamba and the rest of his unit in the staff living quarters. How's that going? It's a disaster, but what else can we do? We've taken away his weapons and banned him from using his nom de guerre. Apparently his real name is Eli. He must feel like we stripped him of his whole identity. We'll let things simmer down. I put a guard on him for now. Still the question is, who is he? Where did he come from? And how has he survived? He's still not talking. No, he won't say a word about himself. But you know, it looks like he speaks English. One of the deck crew called out to him in English, and he said something back. He just lost it all of a sudden, started mouthing off at the guy in perfect English. He wasn't stringing together words he picked up somewhere. So English is his mother tongue. He could be from the east, or the south, or maybe even further north or south. English is well established in countries all across the continent. It's rooted in Africa like a weed, or maybe parasite is a better word. so just speaking English doesn't help us figure out where he comes from. Could even be from off-continent. Right. In any case, we'll keep an eye on him. If we learn anything else, I'll be sure to let you know.
Душман?
Нет. Но я слышал, что его прислали американские империалисты в поддержку душмана. Кто-то из выживших рассказывал, что у него на голове рог, что он сражается с одержимый демоном.
Богатый мужик? Да он, небось, запаниковал, сел с катушек.
Analysis complete.
Hmm.
The map has been
That antenna is
updated.
one of the targets. There should be more. Keep looking.
The map has been updated.
That's another one of the targets. Do you see any more? That looks like the target.
Position info
We know where
has
all
been
the antennas are now. Take out all three of them. How you do it is your call.
Now, I did see a guy with a rocket launcher.
About the pathogen spreading through Mother Base. You've seen everything we've got on the outbreak. What's your opinion?
Textbook symptoms of vocal cord parasite infestation. And judging from this casualty list, it is the Kikongo strain, meaning a breed of parasite that triggers symptoms upon detecting pronunciation specific to Kikongo.
So our Kikongo-speaking staff are at risk.
Quite so.
He's right. All the victims do speak Kikongo.
So they can survive if they just use another language.
There is no guarantee. You're only dealing with the Kikongo strain. Other language strains may be present. You well know he was teaching them languages from all over the world.
The Devil's House. Nzoya Badia Bulu.
There is no way to know how many strains he has at his disposal.
Now, there the guys look like they have the rocket launcher I was looking at.
You mentioned using microbes.
Use this. A type of Wolbachia. Introduced to a sample of the parasite.
Wolbachia.
Yeah, a lot of research had to have been done, I'm sure, for all these languages.
The parasites. Turning male to female. And preventing copulation.
Oh man, what am I gonna do here?
What have you done with the infected bodies?
Cremated to stop the spread of infection. But we did keep a few for study.
Good. Take this sample, grind it to a pulp, and introduce it to the larvae now nesting in the dead. The Wolbachia will multiply rapidly within those larvae.
They're soldiers, not some petri dish.
Conventional cultivation methods will take too long. Extract the Wolbachia from those larvae and vaccinate your men. Kikongo speakers first. This is the fastest, surest way. No one is to speak a word of Kikongo until the Wolbachia are safely inside them. I will instruct your medical staff in detail on site. You have the appropriate facilities.
Yes, but
Do not worry. I made a pact with your Bete Holone on the honor of the Dene. I speak no lies.
keep an eye on him.
Will do. Follow me. I'll take you to the medical team.
Now, we must wait.
He's not
for the
moving until I'm gonna get down there.
multiply in the larvae.
How is the disease transmitted? If it's carried by insects or rodents, then...
There is no intermediate host.
So...
The vocal cord parasites lay their eggs.
Snake, get down! Get down, Snake!
Most hatch and migrate to the lungs, but some are transported to the mouth through ciliary movement, mixing in with saliva.
Saliva. Droplet transmission.
Sneezing, coughing. Any food or water containing infected saliva. It would spread fast.
Indeed. And when the larvae migrate to the lungs, symptoms can resemble
Word.
early stages of a cold, making it easy to infect others.
Meaning a simple conversation would be enough to pass it on. Alright, so what happens after the larvae migrate to the lungs?
Cool, great, sweet.
They mature by feeding on
Snake, stop standing up!
It is only then that noticeable symptoms appear in the host.
And by that point, it's too late. He's infected everyone else. It's one hell of a weapon you've created.
That is what Blag Ana wanted. Something that would spread easily. In truth,
Oh my word.
that's not the reason. But we will discuss that another time.
The Wolbachia have multiplied. We're preparing to extract them and begin vaccinating. But is this really the only way? Sure, it'll prevent infection, but the cost?
You would rather remove their vocal
No. Tactical communication's the linchpin of what we do. What if we were to ban the use of Kakongo?
insufficient. First, there is no guarantee that only the Kikongo strain is here. Second, there is the matter of how the parasites lay their eggs. Before they can copulate, they must be exposed to the pronunciation of a specific language for a period of time, like a container filling with water. But the duration between when the container is
Good. That's the first one. Destroy the remaining antennas.
from case to case.
Nice.
I just realized, could I just use the assault rifle?
Rest of them, though. Keep going.
Speaking as a countermeasure, it may already
Would that be good enough to just destroy the antenna?
the only true solution is to prevent copulation through the Wolbachia, or by physically removing the affected tissue.
Do any anti-parasitics work?
It sounds as though you have already tried.
Yeah. We tried every one there is, and nothing.
I have yet to find a medicine that can remove the parasites. At best, it temporarily.
Boss, what happened?
If I could just get one grenade or something. Well, one extra. I don't freaking know. I don't have a plan here.
Its location is on your iDroid.
Sun will rise momentarily.
Alright, back in the sky you guys go.
You gonna extract him?
Yeah, I didn't think so.
You have arrived at your destination.
Would a claymore work? Like, if I placed a claymore and then shot it and it blew up. Well, I guess the question is, does it blow up? I guess we'll see.
You made it. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility.
I hate myself. I just want to die in game.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base. You have arrived at your destination.
Oh my word, what the heck? Oh my... I'm just not good. Oh cool, another one. Oh, my word.
The map has been
That antenna is one of the targets. There should be more. Keep looking.
The map has been
That's another one of the targets. That looks like the target.
has been
We know where all the antennas are now. Take out all 3 of them. How you do it is your call.
Is it though? Is it my call? Because it doesn't feel like it.
Explosives should take care of them well enough. How you do it is up to you.
Love the fact that I can just be spotted in the dumbest possible ways. With what RPG? I don't get enough from one guy. I have to take out 3 guys with a rocket launcher before I can even consider that as a possibility. Oh my word, of course it's freaking you! Ow! Yeah, it doesn't help too that I'm a moron. I just want to test this. Okay, that does work. Oh, cool. Sniper. Sweet. This is gonna be a long day. Okay, the sniper's dead. Love the heavy armored guys, they're my absolute favorite. Okay, I don't know why he blew up. There must have been some explosion in your head. Oh god! Well, yeah, because I was very curious to see what these were. Like, that has me excited to see new things. But I was kind of hoping, like, it'd be a little bit like, oh, hey, you know, you have to, yeah, you procure things on site. That means that there's a chance of having a good spawn rate of these things. Nope, you just gotta hope you live! Oh my word. That is.
Snake, talk to me! Snake! Snake!
It's gonna be very interesting to see if I can even finish one of these missions. Oh god! Why?!
Target equipment. Its location is on your iDroid.
Dude, I wish I could be playing Max Payne style of gameplay right now. If this game actually had like Max Payne like gunplay, that'd be awesome. That would be way more preferable than this, but this game is more stealth.
Arrived at Mother Base. You have arrived at your destination.
That's another... You tried to bait me!
You made it. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility.
Yeah, no, I got, I just spawned in and I almost died right there because the wolves were like, he's gonna come here! Arr.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base. You have arrived at your destination.
I can tell you one thing, I'm not looking forward to playing more substance missions. I already tell I'm not gonna like these. Well, I guess the thing is, like, this is better if you know where everything spawns. It worked last time. I, for real, hate myself. I hope you guys are ready to just chill here for another hour. Because I'm not getting this mission done anytime soon. I don't know which one of these I freaking listened to.
Our mission about the pathogen. We've inoculated the staff with Walbachia to keep them from becoming symptomatic.
That should also contain the infection.
How did this happen in the first place? It has to have been a Cypher spy within our ranks.
If this is so, then why the Kakango strain? If their intent was to wipe you out,
Extraction.
Skullface said the remaining English parasite was close to the boss. If this latest strain was his doing, he wouldn't have tipped his hand.
it is possible someone brought eggs onto the base without knowing. Stuck to their shoes, clothing.
That makes the most sense to me. And where did the eggs come from?
You mentioned that your boss visited Nzoya Badiopulu.
Sure, but his gear's disinfected immediately upon return.
Then he was not the carrier.
And not just the boss. All staff dispatched to high-risk regions were quarantined on the flight back. When the symptoms first appeared, we checked and disinfected all equipment used up to that point. Any and all prisoners, soldiers, materials, and animals extracted during missions were also quarantined.
So, that just leaves.
I have seen children around here. Where are they from?
All over. Some were being held hostage at a mine. Then there were the troublemakers at Bwala Yamasa.
Bwala Yamasa.
Yeah.
Their clothes, their things. Did you burn them?
They're just kids. We couldn't. And besides, not one of them's shown symptoms.
The parasites don't infect prepubescent hosts. Their vocal cords are not fully developed.
Well, if infection doesn't occur in children...
It is possible they carried eggs on their clothes, and the infection spread from them.
Check the kid's stuff.
I doubt there is any trace left by now.
But if there is, some of those kids must be close to hitting puberty. How could we have missed this?
The name Bwala Yamasa got quite a reaction from you. I'm guessing the Kikongo strain was released in that village.
Cypher used that region to experiment with vocal cord parasite transmission. The Kikongo strain. The settlements around the refinery upstream of Bwala Yamasa were the proving grounds. They would infect one villager, then record transmission speed. Dangerous work. If they failed to contain the infection, it would slip into the surrounding regions.
What am I doing?
The world
Go
found
forward.
out about the parasites, making them useless as a weapon. Incredible they'd risk such a thing.
The test site was densely populated too. Terrible place for such experiments. No doubt, they thought burning everything would wipe away all traces. The settlements were covered in oil anyway. Who would wonder if one day they caught fire? And so it did. They burned it all, living and dead.
Those remains.
But they miscalculated. Transmission speed was far faster than anticipated. It may have been the temperature, or hygiene standards, or perhaps the parasites reacted quickly to Kikongo.
Oh, really?
Whatever the reason,
I just wanted to see if there's anything of use over here.
heavily infected, and the settlements reduced to mounds of corpses. Making matters worse, the dry season was ending. When it came time to burn the village, the Moneni River had swelled. Many of the bodies were waterlogged.
Meaning they didn't burn completely.
The corpses still contained viable eggs, and the larvae washed downstream.
Please lie down, Snake. Why do you have a problem with that?
Drank that water.
That marked the end for Bwala Yamasa.
I learned all of this at the mansion. I warned him of the risk of eggs getting out.
And?
We are prepared for any eventuality.
I get it. Putting the oil field back online. The oil leaks, saner. They plan to pollute the river. Prevent the spread of infection.
But the oil flow was stopped. And downstream, the people of Masa village started using the water again. The PF soldiers deployed at the village were locals, spoke Kikongo. They were infected, and the kids survived.
I've heard enough.
And who stopped the flow of oil?
Don't.
We did.
That confirms it. The source of the Kikongo strain infection was Masa village. And the children brought it here. It is no one's fault. There is no blame to be cast.
The parasites, they were tested in other regions?
Their physiology requires that they be tested under varied conditions. Another test site was in Afghanistan.
So it was the parasites there.
Both the Pashto and Tajik languages
Okay, they're going away.
in the mountains of Afghanistan, and population density is low. Ideal testing grounds for how accurately the parasites target only the specified language. It is also relatively easy to prevent the spread of infection.
And the results?
The first test, I am told, was a success. Once the Pashtun Mujahideen were infected with the Pashto strain,
Oh my word, I can't catch a break.
wiped out.
The Hamid fighters is Masay Fort.
It was doubly successful. No Tajik Mujahideen or Soviet soldiers became symptomatic.
So the parasites proved to be effective. What about the second test?
Also supposedly a success. A Pashtun village was the target. However, the original aim was to obtain samples of the infected. In this, they failed.
And the village?
The Soviets enacted a standard scorched earth operation.
That must have been the village where Malak lived, before being held captive in La Marjate Palace.
Having had more time to think on it, the details shared with me may have been false. They are madmen who would do anything to cover up the truth.
They certainly seem to like tossing their problems in the fire.
As a boy, Skullface's life went up in flames. Perhaps that is what fuels his fixation with fire.
Ow.
Bakia stopped the infection all right, but I still don't get it. How can a few bacteria change
What?
males to females?
Behind? Oh, you're awake.
I know they're only
It is not such a rare thing in the natural world. Many insects and nematodes are infected with Wolbachia.
but why?
They nest in the cell cytoplasm of the host,
Oh my word!
egg cells, with the result that the offspring are born infected.
Mother-to-child transmission.
However, Wolbachia cannot nest in sperm because they do not have cytoplasm. So even a successful infection of a male ends after a single generation. This means the Wolbachia resort to maximizing the population of infected females.
Sounds like an ethnic cleansing campaign on a tiny scale.
Gender change from male to female.
Okay, that's dealt with.
Tactic.
So more females means more Wolbachia carriers, so it can keep thriving in the following generations. But parasites in a human host are supposed to be a mating pair. If there's
That guy's still knocked out over there too. That's what's funny about that.
killing itself.
Slow down. This tactic is intended for environments where a single male can copulate with multiple females. Originally, the Wolbachia did not infect the Wolbachia.
I just realized
sites.
the more I kill, the more this is going to be a problem for me. Because that helicopter's going to show up.
Wolbachia, so that it could infect monogamous
Yep, here it is.
The Wolbachia's greatest multiplying tactic, the male-to-female change, worked against itself in the monogamous parasites. Just as you said,
Alright, well, it was a mortar, not a helicopter this time.
repeated selection of Wolbachia strains until I achieved 100% certainty of male-to-female conversion.
Creating female-female pairs, unable to reproduce. And you say the Wolbachia affects the host of the host, that is, us, cutting off our means to reproduce?
It is almost certain. Of course, we will not turn female. After all, mammals possess no natural gender-changing function. But some Wolbachia strains can cause cytoplasmic incompatibility in the host.
Is that some cell deformity?
Put simply, it means the altered sperm of infected males kill the female's egg on contact.
And that's happened to us?
Yes. And yet, what occurs in humans is not just simple CI. To date, there are no cases of Wolbachia affecting humans. The fact that this strain causes this effect affinity with humans. I do not know enough to say for sure.
So the parasite warps the host. Reminds me of what Skullface said.
It is the way of all organisms to create their own optimal environment. Just look at you and this space. Organisms that cannot do this are doomed to extinction. The difference with parasites is that their environment is not organisms. That creates a connection between
What? Oh, he walked away. I was not expecting that.
parasitism.
I died.
Snake, talk to me! Snake!
Who, Wait, hold on.
Communications post and destroy
Okay, the wolves aren't here this time.
its location is on your iDroid.
Who's up for a bit of a walk around? So we're gonna go all the way back there. Cause I can't think of anything else. Cause that's all, folks.
About this OKB-0 Emmerich was talking about. Its location and features match the citadel in the mountains northeast of the Soviet base camp. Built during the time of Alexander the Great, it was left in ruins following one of Genghis Khan's campaigns. Its occupants changed time and again.
I mean, that's not gonna do anything because the moment I get anybody, they immediately notice. Like, they are just, they have like some ESP connection with one another. Like, they know when one of their buddies is in danger.
But it would seem that Skullface's connection with the philosophers gave him license to develop Sahelanthropus there. And that's what Emmerich was doing at the place, before he got the axe. But OKB is a designation the Soviets use for weapon design bureaus. There's no way they'd have one of those in Afghanistan. And in principle, the numbers that follow OKB are always integers above 1. There is no 0. Perhaps this was a secret facility of the Soviet and Chinese philosophers dating back prior to World War II. Though it's more likely Skullface just picked a fake name that more or less fit the Soviets' pattern. He doesn't go there often, but he sure as hell won't miss this. They use the heliport on top of the tower for his visits. Start by heading for the heliport. Then wait for your chance to make contact with Skullface.
It seems Sahelanthropus's armor is made from depleted uranium. That offers some serious protection. The U.S. military is planning.
I don't have the fake mustache in here. I don't know where it's at.
Maybe that's where
Can't try that one.
Uranium.
Also, I don't have a truck.
Nuclear fuel for armor now.
No. What they use for nuclear fuel is uranium-235, which is extracted from natural uranium. Depleted uranium is a byproduct of that process. Sort of like the leftovers, I guess. The garbage. Uranium-235 makes up 0.72% of natural uranium, whereas depleted uranium contains only 0.2%.
What are the benefits of using it for armor?
It's a pretty short list. Uranium's a heavy metal, like lead, meaning it can hold a greater amount of kinetic energy. But it also boasts a hardness closer to tungsten. That makes it an ideal material to use for, say, armor-piercing ammunition penetrators. But it's not the best choice for armor. Its volume is less than that of ceramics, but for an equal weight, you could end up with less protection.
So why use it then?
According to Emmerich, it came down to him being unable to source ceramics technology from a manufacturer. Plus, given that it's an upright walking vehicle, he wanted to reduce the bulk of certain areas. Despite all that, depleted uranium still makes for some tough armor, and Emmerich says it's been proven in live fire tests. It stops most Soviet tank shells.
Map has been updated.
Alright, there's gotta be something in one of these, like, extra villages. They would not give you this much space if they didn't think you were gonna need it.
Emmerich didn't go with depleted uranium for Sahelanthropus's armor because of its strength.
He had nukes in mind.
Exactly. It's meant to use its body as the fuel component for a nuclear weapon. Sahelanthropus uses built-in uranium enrichment Archaea to melt its own body
and extract uranium-235 from the depleted uranium in its armor. Those Archaea perform the enrichment in an extremely short time. The concentration jumps by a factor of several hundred, from 0.2% to over 90%. The end result being highly enriched weapons-grade uranium. Sahelanthropus's body itself becomes a nuclear bomb. Emmerich says if it were to self-destruct, the nuclear yield would be somewhere in the region of 15 kilotons. Since you need about 50 kilograms of highly enriched uranium to trigger a nuclear reaction, that would mean Sahelanthropus contains something like 23 tons of depleted uranium.
That's not very much.
No, it isn't. That's about what you'd expect to find in a main battle tank's armor. The point is, it can be transported anywhere, even use its conventional weaponry on the battlefield, and the international community will never suspect a thing.
Видел уже тяжелую пехоту? Не, войсковых вообще набирают. Ну это что-то вроде...
I just received word from the R&D team and the transport team out of Afghanistan. They finished installing Sahelanthropus on the base. It's ours now.
All right. Don't let any of the staff touch that thing. Especially Emmerich.
Of course. That guy's crush on Sahelanthropus is beyond a joke. Guess he really wants to see his tech stand on its own two legs this time.
That's not gonna happen.
I know it. So you've got no plans to make it operational again?
Damn right.
Boss, I want to hear it straight from you.
Hear what?
What the hell do you want with that thing? The drive is busted. It's not like it has a nuke on board. Even if the metallic Archaea could turn it into a nuclear weapon, all it can do is self-destruct. Sahelanthropus just isn't a weapon anymore. It'll draw unwanted attention without even being a deterrent.
I know.
The weapons development strut sank 2 feet under that thing's wake. That's 1 year's drop in a single night. We've started on reinforcing the strut, but there's no guarantee it'll hold up if a storm hits.
I know that too.
Boss, why keep it?
It's a mark. Us Diamond Dogs, we don't have a country to call home. That means we have no past, nothing to prove that we lived. Every one of us threw it all away when we came here. Sahelanthropus is a symbol to show that the likes of us brought at least one crisis to its end.
A mark in history. So we can't just fade away.
It's of no practical use to us. But we still need it.
A symbol of what we've done. I'm glad I sounded you out on this. Snake, on behalf of all of us, I want to thank you.
How did I not even see that guy?
Security. Keep Emmerich away from that thing.
Roger that.
Как ты в порядке? Похоже, здесь он побывал! Не теряйте бдительность!
Alright. It's gonna be really annoying, isn't it? Think you can just wake up? I don't think so. Where are you? I guess I'll take you too, why not?
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Alright, that's blocked off. Can't enter that. Oh, jeez. Just heard that truck now. Discord notifications keep getting in my like, keep popping up, and it's like, what the heck is going on? Good thing he didn't care at all. Alright, we still got the main village over there, it looks like. I hope that has something. It probably doesn't. I'm probably literally wasting my time.
metallic archaea?
Volcanic craters spewing sulfur. Water hot enough to boil your skin off. Ocean depths of 800 plus atmospheres. Wastelands radioactive enough to kill you where you stand. There are groups of organisms that survive despite,
Extraction arrived
No.
at Mother Base.
because of living in such environments.
I've heard about them. Extremo something.
Extremophiles. By selecting certain species, then subculturing and repeatedly modifying them, I created a metallic offspring of pure archaea. They subsist on metals rather than organic matter.
And some of them even consume uranium?
Yes. Uranium enrichment archaea metabolize only uranium-235. As a result, they produce weapons-grade enriched uranium. How is that possible? Consider how plants fractionate carbon isotopes
Extraction
when they
arrived
conduct
at Mother
photosynthesis. Nature possesses abilities beyond our imagination.
So it was archaea that brought down your chopper?
Corrosive archaea, yes. They oxidize metals, feeding off the energy in the electrons they receive.
Why do I keep getting so turned around?
We had the R&D team retrieve samples for study in airtight plastic containers, of course.
Prudent. We shall extract archaea from it in good time. They should help you fight back against Blagana.
Any chance we could start now? It doesn't have to be a lot. I might just have another use for it.
Analysis
If it's
complete.
only a small amount you need.
That's fine. I'll get the R&D team to assist. Let's go. South Africa was previously suspected of developing nuclear weapons. It already had a conspicuous presence at the UN because of apartheid and its armed expansionism. But when neighboring Angola and Mozambique became socialist countries in '74, South Africa felt hounded into a corner. So it accelerated its nuclear program to protect itself.
Analysis
3 years
complete.
later, the Soviets discovered a
Analysis
test
complete.
facility. And 2 years after that, an American satellite observed a flash in the southern Indian Ocean. It said this was South Africa
Yeah, I didn't think
conducting
so.
a nuclear test with the help of a certain ally. Skullface used the situation in South Africa to get this ally to lend a hand. They both wanted nukes,
Analysis
so it was a
complete.
mutually beneficial relationship. On the surface, anyway. I figure South Africa started getting serious about nuclear weapons production in '75. In '74, the government was still able to get by with bluffing that it had a nuclear arsenal.
Analysis
But the year after, word spread that an independent armed group in the Caribbean was crushed by Cypher for possessing a WMD. That's right,
Analysis
boss.
complete.
What happened to you and your men was the reason South Africa decided to push ahead with nuclear development. A force independent of any country getting its hands on a nuke. That was a threat to the existence of countries everywhere. It wasn't just South Africa. Your presence pushed a lot of countries to get nukes. The world was scared of you. You were a threat to more than just the Cold War. If nations are gears in a machine, you had the power to smash them loose and watch the whole world grind to a halt.
Okay. I've got a plan. The problem is I'm gonna have to wait a while for them to come back. But I've got C4, so I can do one plant while only getting slightly spotted. I can then run back to the hill, blow the C4 up, then use the rocket launchers to destroy the other two
Approaching.
satellites, and then I can leave. All right, I've got my plan.
До встречи.
Emmerich uses externally powered powered legs of his own design. It's bionics technology, a product of the U.S. military's failed attempt to develop a powered exoskeleton. All the wearer has to do is apply a little force, and the actuators continue the movement in that direction. But his legs are unique. Instead of using a hydraulic mechanism, the actuators run off metallic archaea. That increases the actuator's reaction speed and also enables him to lock and release the joints at will. The legs are a nifty little gadget, but they have two clear weaknesses. First, they're dependent on external power, maybe because he built them knowing he couldn't leave his lab. There's no internal battery. That's why they won't work if they aren't plugged in. Second, and this is more than just a weakness, the legs are directly connected to his bones. Could be to minimize signal loss and the orders output to the legs and the drive response from them. Either way, Emmerich has used bolts to attach load-bearing parts directly to his femurs, probably by mimicking surgical treatment for compound fractures and the like. But the end result is those legs and his body are fused together, and that appears to be how he's able to move them so precisely. But that also means that any shock to the legs would be delivered right to his bones by way of those bolts. The same is true if he encounters the corrosive metallic archaea. If the corrosive archaea ate into the exposed bolts, they'd reach the endoskeleton parts and eat through them too in the blink of an eye. The doctor's bones are full of holes.
Alright, I've got. Can I just mute this all right now? No, I can't.
If he were to lose the reinforcing parts,
I don't even know what was the one that actually just got a notification. Okay, it was...
So when I dangled those corrosive metallic archaea in front of him, he realized straight away what would happen. Life wouldn't be worth living if he lost those legs of his. I'd bet that is what the doctor fears the most. I'd accept him as right. Thanks to that, I got the information we needed without either of us getting hurt. You know how he is. He's probably already over the shock. The better you know your adversary, the easier it is for you to get information from them. And vice versa.
Alright, were either of you good? No. Alright. You guys can chill here. Alright. Plan is gonna work this time. Let's go. Oh, since I've also got to run. Gonna need another cassette tape.
You said that the nuke Skullface was trying to spread around the world were equipped with a failsafe. Something that could shut them down at will. His will.
Quite so. After all,
Alright, I gotta get rid of that. How do I... Oh, get rid of the... Get rid of the... Okay. There we go.
The detonator is a complete black box design. Any attempt to dismantle it causes it to melt in seconds, using the corroding archaea. The design ensures that no detonation is possible unless it disengages the lock.
So he had a way to disengage it remotely.
Precisely. The client simply presses a button. At that moment, the detonator begins transmission with a surveillance satellite. The satellite reports to him how the client is trying to use the nuke. If he does not object, the lock is disengaged.
But if it's a risk to him in any way,
The detonator melts down. The same is true if detonation does not occur within a preset time after the lock is disengaged. The nuke is rendered useless.
who the hell would buy something with strings attached like that?
The client would never know until the moment they actually try to use it. Most likely, he would have explained the time delay, that the detonator's needing time to activate. And he only intended to sell to technologically primitive groups in the first place.
Let me guess. He'd claim it was defective and offer a replacement. Shadier than a used car salesman.
Skullface shakes your hand like a friend. You
Cypher was having the PF's transport. Before we met you, the boss recovered it from a truck crossing the Savannah. Are there metallic archaea inside it?
Yes, the Archaea metabolize uranium-235 to subsist. They must be stored inside Yellowcake, or they cannot survive.
So those biological traces we took for impurities were actually the real cargo.
Of course, they are deactivated, so they do not trigger a sudden enrichment. They are like baker's yeast. Yet, they do gradually enrich the uranium as they feed. I imagine you detected weapons-grade traces.
Yeah, we did. And the malachite that was loaded on the truck had traces of uranium in it, too. So that's the flower, huh? Skullface was gonna sell do-it-yourself nuke kits. The uranium-enriching archaea complete with the user's manual. And the ores with the uranium could be sourced by the client or provided by Cypher.
Even the trace amounts buried in common ores can be enriched to weapons-grade uranium by the metallic archaea. Proving that must have been the most important factor of the trials. That and the ability to successfully prevent detonation.
So if the amounts of uranium in the ores are low enough, they can get past any inspection. And you only need a tiny amount of the archaea to act as the yeast. No great challenge to smuggle that either. The first step towards saturating the world with nukes.
His plan. That was not my intention. My only goal in developing the metallic archaea was to save the Dene.
What made you think a tool for creating undetectable nuclear weapons would save your people?
After 70 years, the Dene reclaimed the Navajo Nation from which we were banished. We bore all the hardships of poverty, but we were proud to live off the land we called our own. But in the moment the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, everything changed.
I don't get it.
The nuclear arms race between the US and the Soviet Union began with the end of the Second World War. Suddenly,
Yep.
there was a massive demand for uranium, and it was our ill fortune that the ground beneath the Navajo Nation was rich with uranium ore. The Blacana government set up mine after mine, and many of the Dene worked them, never informed of any danger. Every day,
Oh, they're already gone. I guess I took care of them. I forget about that. It's been a while.
flag was simply
You made it.
in the open.
First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility.
Would seep out, and when the ground dried, it would
That antenna is one of the targets. That's another one of the targets. Do you see any more? That looks like the target. We know where all the antennas are now. Take out all three of them. How you do it is your call.
lives on to this day.
I had no idea.
Wanting more than anything to revive the land my forebears left to me, I was delighted upon discovering microbes that eat uranium.
Explosives should take care of them well enough. How you do it is up to you.
I believed we could rid our land of uranium.
Were you successful?
No. The research called for funding on a colossal scale. But nobody was willing to invest with no prospect of a return.
And that's when Skullface showed up.
Correct. I can save you and your people. We share the same will. That is what he said to me. And I believed him. Blacana forced me to abandon my uranium cleanup work and focus on nuclear weapons. And he held all the Dene hostage. Today, the uranium mines within the reservation are finally closing down. It is simply less expensive now to source uranium overseas.
New victims, different places.
But uranium is a tactical resource. To rely on a foreign country for it is.
Okay, that might be a problem.
Good. That's the first one. What's the remaining end? Nice. That's the second one. That wasn't the last of them, though. Keep going. Good work. You've completed your objective. Now get out of the
Yeah, I did it.
Mission has been updated.
It literally took an hour, but I finally did it. Alright, how far is... Okay, I'm like right there. Cool. Are you guys proud of me? I finally did it, you know? Like, it was nothing. There was no problem.
follow you. Throw off the enemies on your tail first.
There's no one on me, though.
Alright, the coast is clear. Mission complete.
Yeah, let's go.
Mission complete, boss.
And it was still a B. Ugh. Oh man, that's fine.
Emmerich's finished development on that battle gear of his. Get back to Mother Base.
I forgot all about that, honestly. I forgot the battle gear was even actually a thing. That probably would have been helpful during the battle with Sahelanthropus.
Clouds approaching.
Okay, then that was intense.
Gear is an armored weapon developed to take on hostile bipedal weapon systems. But unlike the Soviet-funded Walker gear, the battle gear still hasn't been properly field tested. I'd like to assign a combat unit to take it on dispatch missions, so that we can evaluate its capabilities and reliability. Assuming you've got no objections, give the order to dispatch the unit from your iDroid.
Yeah, at least that mission's done with. That was a real pain.
Boss, we need evidence to prove our suspicions about Emmerich. Head to the central base camp in Afghanistan and recover that AI pod. It's time we purge Diamond Dogs of that traitorous parasite once and for all.
Please select a mission.
Like a side op. It is. What's this last mission?
Please select a mission.
Back up, back down. Oh, I think I remember this mission. Yeah, I think I can do this one real quick. Well, if I do that now, I'm gonna forget about... I'm gonna forget about the side op. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and just call it there on that, because that was an absolute pain. But I'm gonna need to remember... I'm gonna need to mentally remember... do side op 143 before I do the next mission. So, yeah, that'll just about do it. That'll definitely do it for me. I'm really not awake enough for doing more of these, although I expect this one to be a tiny bit easier just because I'll actually have gear. But, I don't know. But, yeah. Hope you all had yourselves a good time laughing at my horribleness, and I'll be back on Friday to do some more Metal Gear. We're coming up on the end too. Only got one more week left after this, not including the 31st for the big finish up end of the year stream I have planned to do. So hope you all look forward to that. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.
It is Christmas, my dudes.